Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acton Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience. In today's episode, we are going to be diving into Danish medallions. Now, Danish medallions refers to a pattern that is under the category of hand-manipulated lace. Let's back it up even one more step. When we talk about lace in weaving, weavers don't actually create lace. We create lacy fabric. It's a whole umbrella. There's all kinds of different ways that we can create lacy fabric. And one option is a loom controlled. So we're creating lace by the way that we thread and treadle our project. It creates a lacy fabric. But the other option is by a hand manipulated pattern. And other hand manipulated patterns include lino and Brooks Bouquet. Those are a couple of heavy hitters. But Danish medallions falls into that category, and I have not yet played with Danish medallions. So you know how this goes. I'm gonna try it out, and then whatever I learn, I'm gonna share with you. So in order to create Danish medallions, you're gonna need a couple things. You're gonna need a crochet hook. You can play with the size. Doesn't have to be particularly big or small. Just we're gonna have to get in there and move a yarn around. That's why we need a hook. You are also going to need a stick shuttle or something that's really, really slim, because this has to actually be moved around the yarn. So we don't want anything with too big of a profile. But I am also using a boat shuttle just kind of for the filler. And you'll see as I put all the pieces together for us in just a moment. So without further ado, why don't we get a lot closer to our fabric and we will dive into some Danish medallions. Okay, friends, check this out. This right here is a Danish medallion. Isn't that sweet? I kind of love in weaving anytime that we can create curves and circles and ovals. I think weaving is such a linear, kind of geometric craft on its own. Anytime we can do this, whether it's an illusion or an actual creating curves, I think it's just so fun. So let me walk you through how to actually create Danish medallions. First of all, in great news, this is all plain weave. That's all we got here. Plain weave, nothing crazy. I set up my loom just with a straight draw and off we go. Every other yarn, that's the whole plan here. So to actually create this really unique shape, we got a couple steps. First of all, you see my shuttle here. This is the slim profile as a stick shuttle that I'm using here, but you'll see in just a moment why you want it to be, to have very little bulk to it, because we have to actually wrap it around stuff. So if we back it up and look for just a moment, I did one pick of this white kind of creamy color. And then I did 8 more picks of this kind of light gray. And I just used this boat shuttle because this one isn't actually going to be doing any of the manipulating. I don't have to wiggle this in between yarns. This one is just throwing 8 picks in a row. So that's the job of that guy. So, so as we back it up, I did 1 white and then I did 8 of these of the light gray weft yarns here. Now, when you're creating Danish medallions, you need to do it on an open shed. So I'm actually I'm gonna open up, I have shafts 2 and 4 lifted. And what I've chosen for the proportions for my Danish medallions is, you saw I did 8 picks this way, and I actually have 8 warp yarns going this way. And I made it very simple on myself, and I changed colors every 8 warp yarns. I figured that was just first time out, especially trying a new pattern. I wanted to make my life very simple. So I'm gonna take my stick shuttle. I'm gonna see how I'm starting like this. I'm actually gonna get my little fingers in there, and I'm gonna go bring the shuttle under these right here, like that. So that's the first. See how we're making kind of the top part of that little oval there? Okay, here is where our hook comes in, right? Our little crochet hook. Now, the job of the hook is to go down and catch this white little outlining yarn here and then bring it back under. Here's what I mean. I'm gonna take it below the white pick there. I'm gonna come up this way. It's just gonna grab that white yarn. I'm gonna pull it under just like that. Do you see that? Make myself a nice little loop right there. See how we did that? Then I'm gonna come back in with this guy and I'm gonna go through this It's tricky trying to do this and not knock over the camera. Let me just tell you, that's its own kind of little set of challenges. All right, so then from there, look at that. I can kind of cinch it up so I can make this kind of as curvy as I want. Now, as you can imagine, when we're done going across with this row, I will actually come in with the beater bar and I'll give these a little squish along the top. But for now, that's kind of the idea. I'm intentionally creating these kind of gaps in the fabric to make it lacier. And that is the whole idea. Let me do it again so you can see the motion one more time. So that's where we're starting from, that spot right there. So I'm gonna get my fingers in here. I'm gonna bring my stick shuttle through just like that. That's kind of the top of our little oval or circle. I'll take my hook. It goes underneath. See how it goes underneath that white pick there? I'm gonna come in and get it from the top. I'm gonna bring it under. There we go. Now, one of the things I've tried to do, and you can kind of play with this, is I've tried to always have my stick shuttle go through this loop the same direction every time. You can pick which direction that is, friends. I think it's more important to be consistent than it is to do it exactly per whatever textbook tells you. So just play with that and see what you got. Let's do just one more so we can see it. And I gotta say, changing colors every 8 warp yarns, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but pretty brilliant. Helps me see exactly where I'm going. All right, so take this guy underneath, just latch onto that one. Oops, I lost it. Did you see that? It just snuck right out from under my little hook. You can tell I am not a crocheter by trade. You can tell that, right? Okay, take the little loop, send this guy through, and then give it a little cinch. That is the whole idea. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the context here, is that Danish medallions, you'll see in so many cases, is used as a little embellishment, a little accent. As a matter of fact, I have seen people add a little bead in this section, which is really sweet. You want a little sparkle, a little added interest, you can just add, tuck in a little bead to that part of the process because you're gonna get it caught up all in the fabric anyways. Brilliant. So I've seen that application a lot. For me here, I am actually making curtains and I wanted them to be light and airy. So I am using a lot of Danish medallions in my project. We'll see how it all goes. Something else I wanted to mention is that I actually made life easier because I knew I was going to be doing a lot of Danish medallions and I knew what proportion I wanted to use. I actually put a break in my fabric. Do you see that? As I would do 8 warp yarns, I would leave 1 dent of the reed free, and then I would do 8 more and leave another dent free. So that actually helps as I'm trying to, first of all, locate the space where I go, but second of all, gives me a little more maneuvering room for my crochet hook. Now, friends, that's all optional. And if you were doing a project that is you're just using this as a little bit of an accent at the end, that's gonna look weird, so don't do that. But for me, since I knew I was gonna do Danish medallions as the focus of my project, that I went ahead and left space there. Now, I also know that I want this entire project to be light and gauzy and airy, so that wasn't gonna hurt anything for me to have a little extra space in between my warp yarns. So that was kind of my rationale when it came to how I set up the loom to create the Danish medallions right here. So hopefully that gave you a great idea of how to actually create your medallions. Once you finish your row, or however much you want to do, you'll just bring your beater bar forward, smash them into place. If you're gonna do another row, take this guy back to make your bottom, the bottom of the medallions, and then carry on. You're as good as gold. Okay, as we wrap up our Danish medallion episode, I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. First of all, whatever you're using for your outline, just remember that this yarn is going to need some length to it, because this is not nearly traversing the width of your project. It's going over and down and back up. Like, its path is longer than the average pick of your weft yarn. So give yourself a lot. Don't stress over it. Just make sure you've got a lot on your stick shuttle so that you aren't going to run out midway through your project as you're creating your Danish medallions. Secondly, ponder the proportions. You saw how I did mine. I had basically I did it in a box of 8. So I had 8 warp yarns and 8 weft yarns that were the center, the core of my Danish medallion. Friends, that could be anything. You could have it be smaller, bigger, uneven. Oh, so many cool options. Because then imagine if it's wider than it is tall, then you get like a really cool, like a fat, chunky little oval. Oh, there's so many options. So consider your proportions. Also, I am using the same size yarn for the outline of the Danish medallion as the rest of the project. You don't have to. You could use a different size, different kind, different color, different texture. You could really play with your outlining yarn for your Danish medallions. That could be way cool. There's so many options. And I love the fact that can be utilized as just a little something something, or it could be the whole project. Mine is basically going to be the whole project. So I'll definitely keep you posted and let you know how that turns out. But I'm really having a great time diving into Danish medallions, and I hope that you will, give it a try too. Let me know in the comments, have you played with some Danish medallions already? How did you use it? Like, was it at the end of a towel, or like what was your application and how did you like it? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, friends, that was fun, right? Let's go weave some Danish medallions. Have a great week. Happy weaving.